So I just want to start this video by sharing that I specifically want to talk to people in this video who are over 50 and experiencing what we call gray divorce. This is a kind of more recent term that's come about in recent years. This trend that more and more people over the ages of 50 are getting divorced. And it's really a significant increase. And so it's something that people have been talking about a lot in the media. I can share as a psychologist that this is something that I see in my clinical work. Yes, it's happening. And I specifically want to talk in this video to people who are getting divorced over the age of 50 and they feel nervous, anxious, unhappy, or even really scared about it. Okay. Now, some people, if you're somebody over 50, in the middle of a gray divorce and you initiated the breakup and maybe you're financially well off and you think, well, I've got my whole romantic life ahead of me, my whole second or third act, and you feel good about it. That's good. I wish everyone in this world to be happy, to be successful emotionally. But for those of you who find yourself divorced after the age of 50, this isn't what you wanted. You feel alone, you feel scared, maybe you feel financially insecure. There are so many different types of insecurities a person over the age 50 can feel. People often feel insecure about their bodies after the age of 50, feeling like they're starting to date and, they've got to do that again. A lot of times people feel, and they've gotten out of the routine. And this is a really challenging time in life for somebody, having to face somebody when you start dating again and sit across the dinner table. Well, what's your favorite color? How many brothers and sisters do you have? Right? I mean, to have that energy again, to go back, what so many people feel is to go back so many years or even decades when they were in that position in the first place, before they found their long-term partner, who they thought would be their forever partner or their husband or their wife. Well, it's a gigantic psychological experience for people who have to go through gray divorce. Now, if you're somebody, like I said, who this isn't what you wanted, or maybe you knew this relationship wasn't right for you and you knew that you're not supposed to be with this person, but still feel scared and overwhelmed and just like a fish out of water to be single again after so many years, I am talking to you in this video. And before I go any further, I want to share the overall message that I really want everyone to ultimately feel if they're in this experience. Now, you got to bear with me for a second because it brings up this old memory I had from a TV episode that I saw. So, for anybody who ever saw the series The Good Wife, okay, the central character in the show was Alicia Florrick, and she was an attorney and she was married to a very successful politician for a while, and he betrayed her and it was a very public experience. And then she goes on to sort of have her next act, and she works at this law firm and she works with someone who is an actress played by Christine Baranski. I think this woman is one of the best actresses in the world. And Christine Baranski's character is named Diane Lockhart. Okay. So bear with me. I'm getting to a point, I promise. So Diane Lockhart in this one season had a line that I will never forget. It was so powerful. This actress is able to emote so much emotion and energy that it just burned into my memory at the time, and I'm still bringing it up today. So this was in season 5. And what happened in the show was there were two characters, Alicia and Carrie, and they decided to leave the firm and they were going to start their own firm. Well, of course, this threw the character Diane Lockhart into a total turmoil because she didn't know what this would mean for her firm. And she really felt like this would be devastating for the firm. And so what was she going to do? Was she going to start over? I'm sure this brought up fears of economic insecurity and just all sorts of major life issues. It was almost an existential panic. And so, fast forward to later in the season, I had to look this up to find the specific episode. Later in the season, season 5, there is a scene after a major fallout that took place between Diane and a few of the other members of the firm. Diane walked outside with a younger associate. a younger lawyer associate. And the younger lawyer associate was basically asking Diane, well, what are you going to do? What are we going to do? And Diane just said, we're going to keep going. And so here's the line. Diane looked at this young associate and she kind of leaned in a little bit. And with the intensity of fire in her eyes, but also this weird mix of excitement, she said, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. And what she was talking about, I think, was her life, her career, her resilience, her not willing to be a person in this life who says, well, when I fall down, when something bad happens, when I'm devastated, I don't just give up. And when she said that, it's not over yet. I wish I could have captured that in a bottle because it was so amazing to see. I remember years ago when I saw this, actually replayed that scene because the look on her face was so powerful. And so I think about that message when I think about people over the age of 50 going through gray divorce, insecure, and really almost scared. A lot of times people later in life, when they get divorced, well, in long term relationships, there has been a division of labor. Maybe their partner did certain things for so many years. There are some very basic things. Sometimes a person who gets divorced later in life just feels like, well, I haven't done that in years. Almost like I don't even know how to do that, do certain things. And of course, intellectually, people who go through gray divorce, they know they can learn all those things, but it's so often so many things that a person has to begin to do again. And also at a time in life that they never imagined that happening. And then also just getting older. Some people say is a really confusing and kind of difficult, challenging, sometimes even just sad experience in itself. People know that as one approaches, gets further toward the end of the lifespan, illnesses, sickness is more common, more handicaps develop. So the idea of being single or how it feels alone can be really, really overwhelming. Now, people who go through gray divorce, they can bounce back, they can rebuild. But what I just want to send a message of comfort and support in this video to say is, you will get there, but it will take a little time. It will take a little time, not just the rebuilding process, maybe getting your accommodations set up where you're going to be living if you're living somewhere new, or, maybe some of your relationships are changed because you had shared friends with your partner. There are a lot of changes that will need to be made. But there's also spiritual, emotional changes, changes just in your heart. A lot of times I think about it like we all have, our spirit has a sort of pilot light. If you think about a stove, well, it has a lit pilot light. And sometimes life experiences can happen that can almost make us feel like that pilot light blows all the way out. That's how it can feel. And so the rebuilding process that has to happen for a lot of people in gray divorce when they didn't want the divorce, or even who are just really scared and uncomfortable and nervous and anxious to be on their own again. Well, that pilot light feels a lot of times like it's flickering. Like a strong wind has come by and is almost blowing it out. And so there is a rebuilding process of the spirit that I believe has to happen when you experience this major life hurdle. And it is possible. You can take that flickering pilot light and it can grow strong again, but it will take time. It will take time. You will have to spend time with people who remain in your life, who really love you. You may have to find new pursuits that are healing. Maybe it's making art or taking a dance class or spending time with animals. Maybe someone gets a pet if they're able and they have the lifestyle to take care of it. There are going to be some sort of emotional holes sometimes that feel like they're there. And so it will be a matter of replacing them, filling them up, and maybe filling them up with even healthier, more loving things than were there before. So it is possible to rebuild if you are someone who gets divorced later in life. It's going to take time, but it is possible. Like I said earlier, it's not over yet.